Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel, or hi and welcome if you are new here. My name is Chloe Swift. I'm a professional hairstylist and hair care expert. What I'm going to be showing you today is how we can create beach waves with a flat iron, and I'm going to show you 4 completely different ways how you can do that, and it's going to be an easy option, 2 intermediate options, and then 1 more advanced option. So 4 different options for you with a flat iron, and let's get into it. So the flat iron I'm going to be using today is the GHD Kronos. This is GHD's most recent, most up-to-date flat iron. It's kind of their top of the range flat iron. Before I was using the Kronos, I was using the Platinum Plus, which was my all-time go-to. It was my favorite flat iron. And now Kronos is basically just a little bit better. Now that's my go-to if I'm using a flat iron. Your waves and your curls are just so much more defined with Kronos, and they stay in. So if you're looking for a flat iron that easily glides through the hair, your curls and your waves look really defined and they stay, then I would definitely opt for the Kronos. I'll link it down below if anyone's interested and if they're looking for a new flat iron. But also just the fact that it's got this nice rounded shape, your hair wraps around really easily. So yeah, that's what I'm using today. Let me just turn it on. And also product wise, I'm just going to show you this Maria Nilla product. So this is the Shaping Heat Spray. And so many of you guys ask me, why do my curls not hold? Or why do they drop out really easily? You just need to be adding in products into your hair which contain a hold factor. So if your hair drops super quickly, I would on damp hair be prepping in a mousse, a blow dry spray, and you want to look on the packaging for something that has a hold factor. So you can see here with the Maria Nilla products, it actually tells you how much hold you've got here. So this has 2 little blobs for hold, and this is literally just a dry heat shaping spray. It contains heat protection, and it's just so handy before you curl, wave, put any sort of shape into your hair. If you just mist it onto dry hair like that, not only are you protecting from heat, but also you are adding that hold factor before you then go in and curl, style, whatever to your hair. So also I will link this below for anyone who's interested. And also I just want to preface this and say we're doing beach waves, but when we talk beach waves, that kind of varies so much between people and you can get so many different kind of results. So I would say a beach wave is anything relaxed, effortless, loose, cool, and just a little bit more casual really. Think just undone hair. So there's obviously so many different types and ways you can create that, but yeah, here are 4 different ways. So our first technique, I would say this is your beginner's technique. So out of all of the techniques I'm going to show you, this will be the easiest one. So you want to hold your styler vertical, so pointing down towards the floor, come up and over, and then you want to close the hair in the plaits, and we are only going to do half a turn. And you know it's half a turn, especially with the GHDs, because I started off with the logo pointing backwards, and now I can see the logo in my mirror. And literally all I'm going to do is then just glide down vertically, keeping that pointing towards the floor. And that just creates a really loose curl. When it's dressed out, it becomes a wave. And then if I'm going to do this technique all over my head, I will then alternate the direction of the curl. So then say this next piece, for example, I would then do that onto the face, whereas this one was towards the face. So here I've just gone backwards. The next one I'd go forwards. So this is your really super easy beach wave, and I'd call this your half turn glide down. Okay, next technique. So I would call this one intermediate level. So if you are fairly confident with styling your hair, and it's kind of a take on this one, but it's kind of leveled up. So again, we're going to come kind of similar angle with our styler, so pointing downwards. We are going to rotate a full turn this time, so that's half a turn, that's a full turn, and I'm just going to glide down 1/3 of the way. Grab your end and then remove your styler. So we have got a curl at the top, then you want to go directly in where you left off, and then rotate in the opposite direction, hold the end, take that out again, and you can see how that's so much more. Let me just toss that one to the back. that is just a lot more kinky already. And then you're going in again just on the very ends, and you are just doing half a turn and gliding down on the ends there. So this, you've just got a lot more kink and texture to it. So this one is great when you do a full head of this. It actually expands your hair. You create so much more width and so much more texture in your hair, and definitely it looks a little bit weird, granted, when it's by itself, but honestly a full head of these looks so cool. And it's almost that kind of beach wave where you look at someone's hair and you think, literally, how did they do that? So it's very much kind of an advanced version of that, very similar to this, but you're just kind of removing the styler from the hair, and then you're going, there's a little bit of a midsection where you're then going the opposite way, but then the end goes back again. So yeah, you can just see how different that technique is next to that one. And I would call that one, it's more grungy and just more cool. So I kind of call it more like a rock chick kind of beach wave. It's very cool, cool girl vibes. Okay, so now for our second intermediate level curl. So again, if you feel fairly confident styling your hair, you want a little bit of a challenge, we are going to create this technique, which is kind of called, it's kind of from LA girls and a lot of celebs wear their hair like this kind of LA wave. So you are going in with your flat iron, point it up towards the ceiling, so it's complete opposite on this side, and then you're going to close the hair within the plaits. You're going to do one full turn. And then once it's got that full turn on, you're kind of then at a diagonal angle and you unhook underneath. So one full turn, you see I'm kind of at that diagonal angle, unhook underneath. One full turn, unhook underneath, and then you kind of finish like on a little bit of a straight. So you've got a straight end. It's still loose, you can see it's like really elongated, but this has got so much more definition and a bit more tightness compared to then these really loose ones. But once you've done a full head of these and then dressed them out, yeah, you end up with this really, how can I describe it? You've still got that length and elongated hair length. You're not like making your hair bounce up. It's definitely not a curl, but it's got a lot of definition and a lot of like lovely ripples within the hair. So yeah, that is your LA wave, that one. Now on this side, this is, I'd probably say this is the most advanced technique, and because again it's kind of like a variation on this technique. So this technique, let's call it the alternated wave, because we're almost going to do similar to this, but we're going to go in opposite directions. So this takes a lot more kind of thought and practice, and I would, if this is your first time doing this, definitely practice just the movement with your flat iron off to begin with. So we're going to come in and do your full turn. And then what you kind of do is just like drop the styler so the hair drops out. You might just need to reposition the hair there. And then you're going in the opposite direction. And then you just drop the styler so it drops out. Then you're going in the opposite direction. Full turn, drop the styler out, opposite direction. So this creates a very, very, you can see it's so different to this curl, and it's so much more looser. And I recently did this technique on one of my clients and one of my models. I was styling her hair for something else. I did a full head of this. Actually, I will insert a picture of what it looked like. But again, it's one of those techniques, it just looks so effortless and so undone. And someone else who I was with when I was styling my model's hair, they were like, oh, they look like the churros curls. And apparently that's what these are kind of becoming known for. When the hair is all done, it almost has that very soft ripple through the hair, like literally like churros donuts. So yeah, that made me laugh. But yeah, again, it's one of those techniques, you look at someone's hair and you're like, how did they do that? I love this technique, and this is one of my favorites to do at the moment. And I think it's just very much this year, it's the most modern and the most kind of elevated version of all the others. I've been doing the others for quite a while, but for me, I just really love this lately. And I think it's such a common misconception of creating these looks. People think you didn't do much to create those, and it's actually so hard to create hair that looks so effortless and kind of like it hasn't really been overly styled. So that's my favorite. So we have your beginner technique here, which is half a turn, glide straight down vertically. We have our intermediate technique here, which is like an advanced version of this. So you're going in full turn, gliding down, you remove, you go into the middle in the opposite direction, rotate, glide, and then you go back in the original direction on this side. So you've got 3 different placements here and changing direction in the middle. So that is your more grungy curl. Then we have this curl underneath here, again like a more of an intermediate level, your LA curl. So it's kind of very celebrity. It's perfect if you have hair extensions or really long hair because you can see there's so much definition. So this is kind of one full turn, your style is pointing up, one full turn, and you're just unhooking and unraveling down the hair. And then here we have our alternated curl. So like an elevated version of this, definitely the most difficult and most advanced technique, I would say, but very similar technique wise starting point to this one, but they just look so different. So you're going in and you are rotating, but then you just kind of drop the style as the hair does naturally just kind of fall off from around the barrel and then keep going in the opposite directions. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to pick just 2 of these techniques, 2 quite different ones, and I'm gonna create half and half so you can see just how different they are. I think let's do, because I know this is gonna be a super popular one, just your super easy beginner technique, and then I'm gonna do my favorite one, which is this alternated curl, so then you can kind of see that like churros result at the end. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, both sides waved. Let me just turn these off. So you can see on this side, they're definitely more of like a defined, it's just like a loose ringlet, I would say. And it's just the fact that they're then alternating, and then when you dress them out, makes them look like a beachy wave. Whereas here you can already see like it's a far more textured, alternated wave. Like even before we've dressed it out, it's quite clearly like a more beachy, tousled wave. So anyway, we're gonna leave these just to cool down for like 5-10 minutes, and then we will dress out. So how I usually dress up my waves, I will use a oil most of the time. So I'm gonna use the Maria Nilla True Soft Argan Oil, and I'm going to do a pump in each side. Personally, my hair can take that amount of oil. If you have finer hair, you feel like it maybe oils sometimes can weigh your hair down, although this one isn't heavy at all, but maybe just go for half a pump on each side. Rub it into your hands, and I like to almost rub it in like a hand cream, so it's like going on the backs of your hands as well, and that's just to avoid when it's just all in one place in your palm and then it's like all in one area in your hair. So I'm going to rake my fingers through this side first of all. And just look at that result. I just feel like with this kind of wave, honestly, you can't go wrong. It's just such a classic beachy wave. I did also get my wide tooth comb, because then what I do sometimes like to do is do a further little bit of dressing out if it needs it, like those little ones under there probably need a little bit further. But yeah, if I feel like my hands have kind of done enough of a job of just dressing it, then I would leave it at that. But yeah, just such a classic beachy curl. And as I say, the main thing that makes it beachy is the fact that you've alternated the waves. So one's gone to the left, one's gone to the right on every single section. And just how you're gliding down vertically has left you with like a straighter end. So it's definitely more of a wave than a curl. And now let's move on to our alternated curl. So again, 1 pump of oil. Because this wave is quite a bit looser, I don't feel like we need to go through with our wide tooth comb. I'm literally just popping in the oil, giving it a good run through, but you can see how it's just, yeah, so much more. It's kind of, it's almost like a more stringy wave, if you know what I mean. Like you can see just really, you can see more little pieces and little intricacies, whereas compared to that side, like they actually look so different. I think this side, yes, they are alternating, but like you can see it's still like quite a formed clump and a formed wave, where I've done these waves and then you just break it up to make them look a lot more textured. But here on this side, yeah, it's like there's a lot less breaking up that needs to be done. It's already so much more broken up, slightly more stringy. So actually this kind of wave, I'm actually going to pop in a little bit more oil, because this kind of wave is great for doing those really very much like a celebrity wet look. You know, you see a lot of the celebrities on red carpet and they've got like wet hair, very much that kind of beachy vibe, and it looks quite stringy and long and like wispy's the word with these kind of waves. I do love the term churros wave as well, because I think you do, honestly, you do look at this kind of wave and you think, how have they done that? Is that like that's definitely not a curling iron, it's not a curling wand. You kind of just think, how have they done that? So yeah, I really like this style for 2024 for sure. Whereas, I mean, this is just a classic, ultimate classic go-to, and I think so many of you will also love this style. But yeah, look at the differences, guys. So there you have it, 4 different ways how to beach wave your hair with a flat iron, varying from easy, intermediate to then more advanced techniques. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'd love it if you liked the video and subscribed, and comment down below what else you want to see next, and I'll be seeing you next week for lots more hair tutorials and hair care tips. Bye guys.